All right, here is the case 430 part 2. As you can see, it's changed just a little bit since you guys last saw it, just a little bit. That doesn't look terrible, you know. Doesn't look bad, but not bad. Doesn't look good. And then there's this side of it. Throwout bearing was stuck on this live power shaft, full of mouse nest in here. We had to do some custom modding to this U-joint here to get that one out. This cap is actually locked up here. We cannot pull it off. We got brakes off. Those are stuck. We got brakes off. Foot pans are off. Yeah, this has turned into quite the project. The next thing is this tractor does not have a PTO. This is an 8-speed shuttle, and you couldn't get just like a normal PTO in an 8-speed shuttle. There are 2 different types of PTO you could get. You could get the hand clutch PTO. Okay, correction. There are 3 different types of PTO. You get the standard PTO, which I'm assuming is probably non-live power. But the standard PTO that does have live power, it's ran off of a hand clutch. And we can't have... It's available on the 4 speeds and the triple ranges, but not the 8-speed shuttles. There's not enough room in the transmission. Because of your shuttle shift here. So like 430s and 530s and 570s with the shuttle shift and that have PTO all have a transmission driven PTO. And that's, I guess, the hardest rear end to find for these, so we're looking for one. We're looking for one, and we'd assume that entails you got to remove of this half of the tractor, swap it out, probably be the easiest. But we took the old rear cover off and made a mess there, but minor details. I guess before we show you the nitty gritty of it, Case has this thing where they use fine thread bolts. Everything. And these suckers are tight. I broke the brake. This is a brake adjuster. Broke that bolt on the impact with a vice grip holding it down, mind you, holding the rod down. I've cleaned, and here's the discs off of this side. We're gonna reuse these bad boys. We'll see if we're running, see if they work. And then there's your foot pan, or floorboard, and then here's the brake mechanism off the other side. The only thing that was wrong with these is these. This has got the cam ball rotating thing. When you pull it, it spreads those apart, and they was just stuck. Also, these are nothing to write home about, but it's what we got, and we're gonna use it. Keep in mind, this tractor is literally ran like 4 or 5 minutes total. So we don't know how well it's going to run. And then that leads us to the good part of this video. Not really. We'll start with the old flywheel. Yeah, that needs to be some good cleaning. And then we got...
Also been laying on the floor for...
Yeah, it's been laying on the floor here for a hot minute. We had to cut one of these bolts out for the pressure plate. I don't know which one it was, because the head was so rusted off, we couldn't get it off. And here's the pressure plate.
This is like the improved version.
Yeah, these are the somewhat cleaned up. Not really cleaned up, but partially. Oh yeah, there's that one. Real thin right there. Dad talked about trying to clean this pressure plate up and trying to reuse it, but it might take a little more than a wire wheel to rebuild this one. But we'll see. That obviously can be cleaned up. We'll see if we can salvage this bad boy. And then we also talked about reusing this friction disc, but this thing has actually got enough rust on it to where it has started to rust the iron out in the center of this.
Rivets.
And the rivets. See, this part of it's spreading out because the rivets are rusted through, but Keep in mind, this is all in the name of we've only heard this tractor run for 3-4 minutes. So, and we're not putting the loader back on it for a hot minute.
It
you know,
might not go back on.
it might not go back on. We'll see. We're not going to put the loader on it for this purpose, as in, you know, if we have to split it again. The hardest part about this split was literally that U-joint.
Oh, did we show the start?
Oh yeah, and this is the reason we haven't ran it. That dead spot on the ring gear, yeah, she kind of shelled the Bendix out, Bendix gear. Yeah. And then the next thing on this thing is this governor is stuck, man.
Oh, I forgot about that.
This governor is stuck. I planned on taking this radiator off and putting new hoses on it anyways, so that'll have to come off. But the thing about that is that's all on the front cover. I really don't want to mess with that, but it's the only way the throttle works, so we're just going to have to tear it apart, see what we get. Oil looks milky right there. That's probably not good, but this has not been changed.
Head gasket on this rig would be really hard to do. I mean,
Head gasket on this rig would be real hard to do. But we'll cross that bridge if we get there. Like I said, the loader is not going back on this for a long time before we get all the kinks worked out of it. But I don't think there's really much else to tell you. It's just
it's had a big change.
yeah, big change. No tack cable. The coolant bulb we thought was salvageable. It would be salvageable, but you know, I don't think there's going to be much mechanical coolant action coming out of that part of there. So yeah. I guess there really isn't much to say on this. If any of you guys know anything about these 430s, if you could let us know where this hydraulic systems gets filled, that would be great. We're kind of wondering if it's tied into the transmission oil, but I don't think it is. It's got ATF in the hydraulic system. But there really isn't a fill that we can find unless it's this, a fill or check. Unless it's this vent port. We don't know. We really don't know. If not, we were just going to pour oil down this. This was the main. Actually, I think this is the return hose for the loader. Return hose for the loader, and because this is your pressure here. Main pressure out of the pump. And we're just going to put oil in here and see, because I assume that's a reservoir. But we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns on this tractor, and I don't know if a shop manual would solve it. We should get one, but we haven't got one yet.
Will it do any good anyway?
Yeah, it won't do any good. That, as you can see, there's John's Galaxy. That's another update video coming that we're going to make directly after this one, but figured we'd get this little snippet made, and it's cold out here.
Like 9.
Yeah, like 9 degrees. Filming with no hands. Wind's picked up in this non-insulated building. I guess it's better than snow flying on us. So, yeah. I was kind of hoping to get some of this put back together before I took all this apart. Because believe it or not, a lot of parts are strung out right now. And kind of a big time mess. I mean, there's piles of stuff that came out of these brake shoes.
There are piles of everything that came out of this thing.
Yeah, so we gotta get stuff. Gotta get the pedals freed up.
And really, stuff that you would expect to be stuck isn't stuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. The stuff you'd expect to be stuck on this thing really hasn't been stuck. Like, all the loader bolts came out fine. On the front, they came out fine. But this bolt right here is the platform bolt. And we had to get a 6-foot breaker bar on there to get that thing loose. It didn't even twist out the threads or nothing. No rust on the threads of the bolt. They were just that tight. Right,
not fine thread.
Not fine threaded, and it's just gotten rusty surface rust from sitting here. Like, it's just, And then these platform bolts, there's 3 fine.
Those have been the toughest thing of the whole thing.
Yeah, we've been hammering on those on the impact on 3, and
When
they're
you
fighting all the way. So, yeah. This video is kind of chaotic, but figured we'd let you know what's going on. Get this main cross shaft greased up. Might have something. I done did it on this other side brake. I broke it off. So, yeah, I even had the vice grip on it. You can see my marks and everything. I got it to loosen up a little bit, screw it, and then I switched the impact to tighten it up, try and clean the threads out, and snapped it right there. So, yeah, and you can see this really isn't pitting. That's off another surface of metal, it seems, but yeah. That's all I really had to say about it. This is going to be a low dollar job until we figure out what this tractor's fate on the farm is. But
it'd be handy with the PTO.
Yeah, it'd be handy to have another 550 is basically what it is. But this tractor's a little bit bigger than a 550. It's physical size-wise bigger than a 550. Horsepower, it's a little bit smaller. But, I mean, it's a heavy-duty little tractor. It's got the loader front axle on it. I mean, it should be a good little tractor once we get it running, but got to get it running first. But I think I'm going to call this a video, guys. We'll get this uploaded and see that we're still making progress on some of this stuff. So, yeah. We'll talk to you guys on the next one.